All right, welcome. Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Sunday night. Thank you, Flying Ace Spirits. You're going to help me get through tonight's show. I wrote this check, and now I have to cash it. I thought I would be here celebrating a terrible performance from Shedeur Sanders. But I want to thank Flying Ace Spirits for this straight bourbon whiskey that is going to get me through this. And thank you, Flying Ace. Without you, I don't know if I would be able to get through what I have to get through tonight. Shedeur Sanders was better than I thought. Shedeur Sanders, now this isn't a surprise, what I'm about to say. I expected this. Shedeur Sanders is better than the midget quarterback the Browns have been running out there. Everybody knows I don't like midget quarterbacks. I've been on the record with that. There's no quarterback 6 foot or shorter that I've ever really liked or been comfortable with. And Dylan Gabriel, 5'7", 5'8". I don't. They probably list him at 6 foot, but he's not. And so I was never big on. Dylan Gabriel. But I also thought, and still to some degree think, Shedeur Sanders, his ceiling is Geno Smith. But today is not really the day for me to lean into that. The Browns knocked off the Raiders 24-10. I'm not surprised by that. The Raiders are a trash football team. I thought we would see 2 or 3 interceptions from Shedeur today. I thought we would see at least 3 or 4, if not 5 or 6 sacks. That did not happen. Shedeur Sanders looked better than I thought, particularly his first start. He's getting to play against an absolute trash Raiders team. Absolute trash Raiders team. And so, I thought, and I can see as I get into this, I'm not going to be able to take the high road. And I thought I was going. I really came into this show thinking I was going to take the high road. But I'm about to start going low because, one, this Flying Ace Spirits, this straight bourbon whiskey is helping me get through this and is going to bring out the real me. Look, man, throw up the OTS, brown nosing. That's what all this is. And so we're about to be inundated with brown nosing tomorrow. And I'm spelling nosing, Knowsing. And everybody's going to be brown nosing Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders tonight and telling them how great he looked and how he's the first rookie quarterback to win his first start for the Cleveland Browns. And this is amazing. No one thought it could happen. I'm not going to do that kind of brown nosing. Raiders, absolute trash. The Raiders look like they were out there point shaving, tanking, throwing the game. How in the hell do you watch Shedeur Sanders last week struggle against blitzes and pressure, and you never blitz or pressure the guy? How? The Raiders were throwing this game. Throwing it. They never pressured this kid. And then on offense, Geno Smith, and that's Shedeur Sanders' ceiling. He could be the next Geno Smith. Geno Smith looked like what I thought Shedeur would look like. Geno Smith got sacked 10 times last night. But let me get to my real point. And this is the take no one else will give you. And this is why you tuned in, and this is why Flying Aces is helping me get through this show, because I'm not going to be classy here. I'm going to tell you the truth. Here's my problem with all the brown nosing. There's a great player out there in Cleveland by the name of Myles Garrett that just put on another show today. And I think he's got 18, 19 sacks already this season with like 5 or 6 games to go. That's the real story from that game last night, or just an hour ago or 30 minutes ago, is Myles Garrett. But because everybody is so committed to brown-nosing Deion Sanders and trolling people that think the truth about Shedeur Sanders, that no one is really going to be talking about Myles Garrett is putting himself in play to be the greatest defensive player we've ever seen in the National Football League. He's putting himself in play for that conversation. The man had 3 sacks last night, or an hour ago. Just carried this crap team to a victory over one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Raiders. The man's going to destroy the sack record, but no one's really going to want to focus in and talk about that we're seeing unprecedented greatness, one of the greatest defensive players of all time. What are the Browns now? What's their record? 3-8? Yeah. 3-8. Are we 3-8? Are we 100%? 11 games in, and this man's got 18, 19 sacks.
Yeah, 3-8.
He's putting himself in the conversation with Lawrence Taylor, with Reggie White, with Dick Butkus and Ray Lewis. This is unprecedented. This man should probably be in the MVP conversation, but we're going to spend all week and all day tomorrow talking about Shedeur Sanders, who lucked into a few good plays. Let me keep it real. Who had a few good plays. I don't want to call him lucky. The bomb that he hit early in the game, hat tip to Shedeur. But no one should be walking away from that game thinking like, man, Shedeur Sanders just proved to everybody he's a franchise quarterback. No. He ate off the table that Myles Garrett prepared. Myles Garrett just prepared a great Thanksgiving Day gift meal for the Browns, and they got a victory over a trash Raiders team because Myles Garrett is in the conversation for one of the greatest NFL defensive players we've ever seen. The sack record, if Myles Garrett stays healthy, this man may put up 30 sacks this year on a team that never leads, on a trash team. That's the real story, but we're not going to talk about that because everybody wants to brown-nose Deion Sanders, and everybody wants to be relevant on social media, so we will pretend like Shedeur Sanders did something great. Do we have Shedeur's stats? He went, I think, 11 of 20 for 209 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, and 1 sack. Shedeur Sanders, when he takes the podium, and he's probably at the podium now bragging on himself. Did you see Shedeur before the game talking about, I'm going to be who they've been looking for or whatever? All this arrogance and bravado. He's probably at the press conference right now pretending like he just led the Browns to this great victory. No, Myles Garrett and that defense did. And the Raiders being trash and the field position the Raiders gave him all game. That is why the Browns won this game. That's about as classy and as positive as I can be. Look, is he better than Dillon Gabriel? So what? So what? I'm better than Dillon Gabriel. I don't know everybody's better than Dillon Gabriel. He's a midget and doesn't belong in the league. Did he prove it? Did Shedeur Sanders prove today he's some franchise quarterback? No. His ceiling is Geno Smith. His ceiling is maybe he'll have flashes like that overrated clown down in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Did they end up winning that game, Trevor Lawrence? They ended up winning that game by 3. They didn't cover. I had them at -3. I got a push out of that. But Trevor Lawrence is boo-boo. I was going to say something worse, but he's boo-boo. And at best, Shedeur will be that level of boo-boo. At best. But y'all go ahead. I'm sure Matt Barnes and who else? Steven Jackson were in the booth with Deion Sanders. And y'all go ahead and lie to yourselves and lie to each other that, this was some sort of great performance. Do we have Kevin Stefanski? Can we pull up Kevin Stefanski? Is he at the podium right now? Is he lying about Shedeur Sanders? Is he going to participate in the brown nosing of the Deion Sanders family and pretend like we just saw something great? Now, I will say this. Kevin Stefanski does need to say, he needs to step to that podium and say, okay, we're done with our midget quarterback. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I hear Kevin Stefanski in my ear. We'll get him up here in a second. But, if he's honest, he needs to get up there and say, okay, we don't have to play the midget anymore. We'll run Shedeur out here. And we'll figure it out. We'll find out what Shedeur is. Maybe he's the second coming of Geno Smith. Yeah, let's hear what Kevin Stefanski's saying. Yeah, I see. We're good. All right. Is he talking? All right, never mind. Go ahead. Hold on. Oh, yeah, all this pretending that Deshaun Watson was some sort of mentor for Shedeur today. Deshaun Watson wanted a free trip out to Las Vegas so he could hit the massage parlors. We know what that was about. And if he's got to stand on the sidelines and pretend like he's mentoring Shedeur to get his free trip so he can tell his wife, baby, I got some work to do out in Las Vegas, that's what that was. Are people not, and I know we're jumping in this. People should be asking this man questions about Myles Garrett right now. Now he's talking about Bernie Kosar. Did I miss it? Oh, they're saying they can't hear Stefanski. We can see Stefanski, but we can't hear him on the YouTube deal. We can't hear Kevin Stefanski. They can see him, but he's not talking about Myles Garrett. And this is what I'm talking about, the brown nosing. Everything's about the quarterback. Everything's about everybody else but Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett just dominated that football game. The Browns just sacked Geno Smith 10 times. That was an unbelievable performance by the Browns defense, and we're going to pretend like it was an unbelievable deal as it relates to Shedeur Sanders and the offense. Oh, now he's out here praising Shedeur. Why are they not talking about Myles Garrett? This is what I'm talking. This is why I don't like brown nosing. The story today is not Shedeur Sanders. It's Myles Garrett. Remember when Walter Payton used to put up all them incredible numbers with the Chicago Bears? The Bears were a trash team, but you tune in to watch Walter Payton. Remember when, now this is really getting old. Remember when you turn in to watch the Buffalo Bills to watch O.J. Simpson rush for 2,003 yards? I believe 1973. Hadley, help me out here. The straight bourbon's talking to me, but I'm pretty sure O.J. ran for 2,003 yards in 1973. Remember, you used to tune in to watch the Bills. The Bills were trash, but you wanted to turn in and see the O.J. Simpson show. The Chicago Bears were trash, and you would tune in to see the Walter Payton show. That's what we have going on with Myles Garrett. O.J. Simpson and Walter Payton, all-time greats. At one time, everybody thought O.J. Simpson is potentially, other than Jim Brown, the greatest running back of all time. Then we thought Walter Payton was the greatest running back of all time, maybe other than Jim Brown, or right there with Jim Brown. Now we have Myles Garrett putting on a show that puts him on the same level with Reggie White and Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor. But everybody wants to talk about a fifth-round quarterback that completed 11 of 20 passes for 200 yards. And one of them was a little swing pass that the running back ran 65 yards with. It was nothing. All right. Look, I don't think we got to be here long. Steve Kim wants to come on.
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Oh, Steve Kim's here. See, I don't think this entire game was a big nothing burger. Thank God I got this. Thank God. Let me take God out of this. Thankfully, I got this straight bourbon whiskey to
Wow, led you to
soothe
drink.
my pain. Huh? What?
Led you to drink.
It. I have no choice. What else am I supposed to do? Anyway, what did I miss anything? What happened tonight?
It's about as good a game as you're ever going to see between 2-8 teams. That's what happened. It was a bad football game.
A really
And
bad
Myles
football
Garrett really just dominated. But it's interesting when you look at Shedeur. I thought he was serviceable at best in managing the game. That's what he was. It wasn't terrible, wasn't great. You know the way people are going to push these agendas. I think he passed for about 206 yards, and I think half of them came on 2 plays. The one where he rolled out, and then the Dylan Sampson 66-yard touchdown on a screen. And there's another play, so I guess it's 3, where Jerry Jeudy fumbled the ball, trying to strut down the sideline. And that's about it. But I actually thought Stefanski did a good job of protecting him. Actually put him underneath center, ran the ball. Certain plays on 3rd and long, they just handed the ball off. Understanding one thing, that Raider offense is bad. They can't score against air. The biggest takeaway from me, Jason, believe it or not, as I'm watching this particular contest, is that Pete Carroll, he may actually be on the hot seat right now. This has not worked out. He's an older coach. I thought he'd bring some respectability to that franchise. Jason, they're actually worse than they were last year. I really wonder if this thing is one and done for Pete.
Steve, I'm right there with you. But my issue is I think they were throwing the game. I think they were clearly... They never blitzed, Steve. They never tried to tune this guy up. They never blitzed. They did not want to win this game.
Well, that hasn't stopped them from losing a lot of others. The Raiders are the Raiders, Jason. I mean, look, they're not very good. Geno Smith is a stopgap who has not been very good, and his pocket presence, Jason, believe it or not.
Oh, here's Shedeur. Shedeur is at the podium, but we can play it. But can you hear him? Will we be able to hear him this time? He's got the big smile. I guess he should have the smile. They won the game, but it didn't have anything to do with him. Are we going to be able to hear him? Nod my head. Well, yes? No? I don't know. Oh, we don't know. Yeah, we close up here. Well, all right. Well, there's Shedeur at the – go ahead and put him up there while me and Steve talk. Steve, finish your point. I'm sorry.
Jason, I think there was a quarterback out there that held the ball way too long, way too many times.
Geno.
It wasn't the kid. It was Geno. And I'm thinking, Geno, you're a veteran. You've been in this game for a long time. You know Myles Garrett is coming around the corner. You don't have Art Shell protecting your backside. You don't have 10 Mississippi. And this is an aimless franchise. You get Ashton Genty, you pick a running back in the top 5, and you don't give him the ball. But, Jason, I will admit, Shedeur Sanders makes Sundays a lot more interesting for all of us. Does he not?
I don't know if I can watch that again. I don't know if I will have the same level of excitement as I did this week.
Hold on, we can hear Shedeur now.
Oh, you can? I know me and you can hear him. They're saying it's not playing over YouTube is what they're saying.
Everything,
yeah, we can hear him. The Cowboys are lining up for a game-winning field goal. They're about to come back from 21 down.
They did it.
All hell's going to break loose. All hell's going to break loose in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is probably in some hot water. Yep, this kick is, it's right down. Yeah, it's good. No time left on the clock. Cowboys just won by 3 points, 24-21. Holy cow.
For me to be prepared.
Jason, I was amazed a couple minutes ago. The Eagles had the ball with about 2-3 minutes to go at the 1 yard line. It had been stuffed. They went for it and didn't get it. I thought it was an absolutely terrible decision given the way the Eagles had kind of sputtered on offense in the second half. But I got to give Schottenheimer credit, Jason. That team is now 500, and they seem to have some momentum, and they have not quit on him. Now, back to the Browns. Jason, I look at their upcoming schedule. Honestly, I think the Raiders, given how bad they are, this is the most uninteresting game they're going to play. Think about it,
learned a
because
lot.
even the worst team they
Mentally,
have coming up for the
feel
remainder
like
of the
I'm able to
schedule
understand more.
is a very
I
bad
feel like I'm
Tennessee
able
Titans
to.
team. But you know what? There's a storyline
And the
there.
thing was, I was
Shedeur,
always great at
Cam
understanding
Ward.
perspectives and stuff.
That's going to be a
because you gotta really
storyline. I
take a
think they
deep dive into how
play
we grew up.
the Bengals, who
Like
can
when we
score
grew
the
up, my
game
dad had us
ball.
in a
They still
30,000
think they're
square
kind
foot
of in the
home.
playoff race, even though
Then
they're really not.
after
Hey,
They
that,
play the
we took it to go
Ravens
play ball in
again,
the inner city.
who are now back in the
You know,
playoff run. So,
after that,
Jason, I actually
we
find this story to be
transferred and we moved this
fascinating.
across
I'm
town
not.
because he wanted us to get
My
that dog
interest
in
is
us,
not
you
cut
know,
off after
to
just
have that
today.
mentality, to have that
I
it
think
factor
they're
in.
saying we can hear
So
Shedeur
then
now.
we
Is
went
that
to
right?
charter schools, and I don't know if you're
If
familiar
we
with
quit
charter
talking,
schools. And,
let's
like,
take a
you know,
listen to
it's
Shedeur
not the best,
here.
but, you know, you got a lot of different people from different situations that you got to be able to adapt to. So that's where all those core different things of being able to relate, being able to understand. But now, since I went through everything the past 6 months, it led me to a whole different understanding, you know, and it led me in my own experience with God, with having faith, you know, when nobody else can help you in your situation, you know, but God, you know. So that's why I'm truly thankful and I'm truly happy. And this is the first time I was never had stress, you know. I did the work. I did everything I can in my power I was able to do. So the rest was left up to him.
The comfortability you had with Ethan specifically,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the offensive line, how did that, you feel like that grew over the course of the week? And especially
Yeah, for sure. I feel like they respect the way I go about my business, you know. And being a backup and everything, sometimes you have to compromise your personality and change the way how you do things, you know, to never step on anybody's toes. So the fact that I got an opportunity and I was able to show the organization, show everybody who I really am, then that was truly exciting. So, you know, I was off balance for a little bit, you know, past couple months of my life, but it was different. But I'm thankful, you know, to be back where I am. I would say getting thrown into the Ravens game. I say that's what it is. As soon as we got that last drive, I said, oh yeah, this how they play? Then I was able to get right. It's different when you watch it from the sideline. Like, everybody could analyze, everybody could say everything from the sideline. You could watch TV, everything. You could talk on TV, whatever you want to do. But until you get out there and you do it, then it's different. Going out there, you know, with, you know, only practice with the Hungry Dogs and everything, like, that's different. You know, it's a lot of vet quarterbacks, you know, that had their time and everything that were backups and was able to get thrown in the game and be all right. But I don't think that was like that in their rookie year. That's a difference, you know? Like, that's different, and I'm thankful for that experience because that helped me get to where I am today. That helped me go into the game very comfortable, knowing that they got a great defense with the Ravens, knowing the different looks, how they could be confusing to the naked eye. But that's why during the game I was smiling so much because I'm like, oh, yeah, if this what it is, I know I'm going to be able to accept that challenge and move forward one day and be able to have success. So that's the mentality I went with going and prepping for this week. We know they got a dog on the D lineman. We know about Max Crosby. We know about that. But, you know, I fear no man, you know. The only thing I fear is God. Oh, no, we definitely had a game plan for him. He's a great player overall, and he let his presence be known. And, you know, going and just reflecting, you know, I'm in a moment right now, so we don't truly understand, you know, how everything was. Because when you're in the moment, you can't see full view of everything. So I'm thankful for it, going against them, going against, like, all those great defensive legends over there. You know, it was truly amazing. But when you get out there, you just got to not care and just be like, it is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? That's the mentality you have to have. Oh, we gotta get him too. We got him.
The first long pass, the 52-yard when you spun out. That make you feel any kind of way.
Shedeur thinks he just won the Super Bowl.
I know you came in with confidence, but could you take us through that play? How it made you feel making that play?
I would say the thing is I visualize everything during the week. The game was already played, so that's why I have confidence. That's why I'm able to talk how I talk, walk how I walk. Do what I'm able to do because the game was already mentally played already before we was out there. Then when you get out there, you confirm, what you watch, everything, and then you got the guys in the right spots when you need them in the right spots for different situations. Then you're able to capitalize off them. So, like I said, it comes down to I'm thankful for the coaches, putting everybody in the spots. I'm thankful for the old linemen being able to take me under their wing, and be able to grow and build with them. And I'm thankful for the team, having my back throughout this whole period. Yeah. Yeah, all the rookies is extremely special. We go with a term, but I can't say the term on here though. We have a term though. It's called young. You know what I'm saying? but we definitely want to come in and create change, and we have those conversations. We talk, about what we got to do, and be proactive, not reactive. We got to bring the energy sometimes, and not saying the vets don't, but it's just on the offensive side of the ball we struggle sometimes. So. We need somebody to be that match. We need somebody to be that light. So I'm thankful that we got all the different type of duos over there, all the different key players on the offensive side of the ball, and it's some hungry dogs that's still out there that ain't been a part of the travel squad yet. I was a 5th round pick. I got skipped by everybody at least 5 times. So it's not it just come with the game, it is what it is. But I'm just thankful for where I am now. I don't. Everybody have their differences, but I still got an opportunity to play. So why can I be mad? Money different, but thankfully I have a good family. So it is what it is. We're not playing for that. We're playing for the love of the game. So I'm just thankful to be out here, have an opportunity, be able to go and play. Go out there and play. Go out there and start. Like, you don't know how surreal, that feeling is, knowing that you have the responsibility of the Browns organization on your shoulders, having all the fans, everybody in here arguing with each other online and everything. Everybody have their differences about me. It is what it is. But I'm just thankful I'm here before y'all, today. And hopefully we cleared a little stuff up. But we have a long way to go, a long way to grow. And I know it's only one way, and the only way is up. Thank y'all.
That wasn't bad.
Go ahead, Steve, before I go next.
I thought it's like it's that line from Bull Durham when Crash Davis tells Nuke Nalush, master your cliches. I don't think it was perfect, but I thought that was pretty good. You probably hate it. I thought it was okay.
I can't say I hate it. What I can say is I think he thinks he's in a mile-long race, and he just ran the first 400 meters, and he's actually in a marathon,
yes,
and he just ran the first 400 meters. And, hey, that's great. I'm in the lead, 400 meters into a 26-mile run, and it will be 3 years. It'll be 3 years from now. It may be 5 years from now before we ever know who Shedeur Sanders is as a starting quarterback. And whatever your narrative is, hey, I think he's going to be great. There's something that happened in that game that you think justifies your opinion. I think he tops out perhaps as a Geno Smith, and I saw enough in that game to justify that opinion. It'll be 3 to 5 years before we find out. I think we just heard from a kid that thinks, again, like, if he does think he's running a marathon, I think he just reached the halfway point with a lead, and he's nowhere near. He's 400 meters into a marathon that will play out over the next 3 to 5 years, and that's what I think is going to undermine him, and I think that his groupies and people that have a very who's again, there's all these people that are rooting for Shedeur for a similar reason that people were rooting for Tim Tebow. They think Shedeur says something about American culture, and Shedeur is sticking it to the man, and all these white people that hate black quarterbacks and hate black confidence, and so I'm rooting for Shedeur. And then for Tim Tebow years ago, it was all the people that thought, like, hey, look, he's standing up for Jesus Christ. He's doing something inoffensive. He's, and as we found out with Tim Tebow, who won a playoff game. And then we come to find out he can't play. He's not an NFL quarterback. This guy just beat arguably one of the worst teams in football in a game that was really dominated by Myles Garrett, and people are jumping to all kinds of conclusions. Pump the brakes. He's better than Dylan Gabriel because he's willing to throw the ball downfield. He's big enough to throw down the ball downfield. He's better than Dylan Gabriel. That's about as positive a statement as I can make with confidence today.
Well, a couple things. I never thought I'd hear Shedeur be compared to Roger Bannister, although I do agree with the point. Second of all, it's inarguable. The Raiders are one of the worst teams. It is them and the Titans. Okay, that matters. Here's the thing let's take a look at the upcoming schedule, Jason. I punched it up here on my phone.
49.
They host the Niners next week. Now the Niners can score. And they're much better than the Raiders. So that's a real game. Then they play the Titans. Okay, that's a layup. And they play them at home. So they should win that game. Then they play the Browns, go to Chicago. Ben Johnson's the coach of the year, and Caleb Williams has made some strides. So they're going to have to score some points in that game. Then they host the Buffalo Bills. And I know they've been up and down, but that's still considered a really good team. So that's a real game. And then they play the Steelers. They host the Steelers. That is a divisional game. I think the Steelers are mediocre. We are kind of, unfortunately, they look headed for another 9-8 type of year. Then they go to Cincinnati and the Bengals. Who knows if the Bengals will even trot out anybody at that point. This is fascinating. Now, the comparisons to Tebow, from a cultural standpoint, what he means and how he's a lightning rod and what he means to certain people in America, how they make him feel and what they think he represents. I don't particularly disagree with that. However, I think this has to be stated. Tim Tebow never had the tools to play in the National Football League at all. With that throwing motion, the offense he played with. When you look at Shedeur and his release, a natural thrower of the ball, he's infinitely miles ahead of where Tebow ever was. Now, with that said, Shedeur has a great situation because of that defense. Jason, all he has to do is produce 21 points and not turn the ball over, and he can win some ball games. If he can't make this situation work right now, he could not have asked for a better situation as a rookie quarterback starting immediately.
Well, I do think you're going to see the Browns defense next week. It won't just be Myles Garrett, and it's never been just Myles Garrett. This kid they drafted out of Michigan looks to be a really good player, the defensive lineman.
Mason Graham.
Yeah, but what there is going to be a little momentum and energy, and the Browns defense, particularly given what Myles Garrett can do, might be able to Trent Dilfer the way Ray Lewis and that defense carried Trent Dilfer, might be able to do that. And that's enough for Shedeur as a rookie, even though we all know that rookie quarterbacks in this era a lot of times have a lot of success because the quarterback position has been made much easier to play. And so we've seen, but there won't be, this is what's going to be interesting next week. There was never a moment when Shedeur took the field today where he felt like, man, I got to score. We got to score here because this other team, when they come out here, they're going to move the ball and they're going to score points. That's when you start finding out about a quarterback, when there's actual real pressure.
Yes.
This man had so much good field position in the first half of this game. Things get via turnover, I think there was a punt return that put him in position. just they kept having things go their way. It'll be interesting when things don't go his way and they actually need him to throw the ball on first down or second down. That will all be interesting.
Or Jason, the real litmus test is in the NFL when you have to throw the ball on 3rd and 8 and everyone knows you have to throw the ball. And I thought it was interesting. There's two things that kind of stood out. There was one time, I think it might have been in the second half, they were deep in their own territory. It was 3rd and 14, and they called a screen or a little dump off to Harold Fannin, who's a really good rookie. And Fannin made a great play to break 3 or 4 tackles and got 14, 15 yards. Right? So that was a relatively safe call by Stefanski. There was another moment in the game where they were right around the 45. I think they were in maybe Browns territory, and it was 4th and 3. Nowadays, most teams would go for it. Stefanski trotted out the punt team, and I thought it was exactly the right call because I said to myself, and I tweeted it out, there's no way the Raiders were putting together an 80-yard plus drive with that team against that defense. So, again, I know people think Stefanski hates Shedeur, but I thought in this particular moment, he did a great job of putting him in the best possible, safest situations.
Someone is going to criticize Stefanski, someone of note, someone in the media, for running the Wildcat on those first 2 touchdowns instead of, you should have been building Shedeur's confidence and let him get a cheap touchdown or let him be on the field. Someone's going to criticize him for that. It'll be a mistake. But overall, yeah, I think Stefanski did Shedeur a solid, protected him, put him in good position to have a successful first outing. Steve, before I let you go, before we wrap this up, because, before we wrap it up and we move to Sunday Night Football, again, I want to reiterate, Myles Garrett is the real story. Myles Garrett is putting his name in contention for one of the greatest defensive players of all time. I don't know if you saw LT's tweet earlier this morning about Myles Garrett, I believe now 6 straight seasons with double-digit sacks, and him and LT, the only guys I think with 5 or more of those. Myles Garrett is the actual story, but it's never going to get addressed. And this is where I compare Shedeur to Tebow, is that he blots out everything. And it's just Shedeur, and we're watching one of the greatest defensive players of all time perhaps have his best season and should be in the MVP conversation on a 3-8 football team. Your thoughts on Myles Garrett?
Myles Garrett might have 25 sacks this year. If he played Geno Smith every week, he'd have 50, but that's another story. But it's impressive because he never really gets to play from ahead, where he gets to pin his ears back for a full quarter and a half. But that is the truth. When I see Myles Garrett, I think this is the best pure defensive end since Bruce Smith. And when it's all said and done, he might actually surpass Bruce Smith. And I never thought I'd hear that. The 2 best defensive linemen I ever saw in my lifetime, Jason, growing up, was Reggie White, who played various positions, inside, outside, played over the nose. He could play any position, any system, and be dominant. And the best pure end, and he played more in a 3-man front, was Bruce Smith, who had over 200 sacks. I almost thought that record would be unassailable. If you really examine what Myles Garrett is doing, he might actually make a run for it. I thought that was one of the barriers that would never be broken. But let's be honest, Jason, this is a quarterback league. I mean, there were years when Aaron Donald was the best player. For about 4 or 5 seasons, no one talked about it.
Stop. They did talk about Aaron Donald. No, seriously. Far more than Myles Garrett. If Aaron Donald was having this season, and Aaron Donald did have this kind of season for a defensive lineman.
On winning teams, though, did he not? On winning teams in L.A.
I got it.
A little different.
But that's what this to me takes me back to watching Walter Payton on those bad Chicago Bears teams. You tune in just to see the Walter Payton show. You tune in, again, I'm a little bit older than you, but you just tune in to watch O.J. Simpson on bad Buffalo teams. Or, you get the Howard Cosell highlights or whatever you follow.
But Jason, those guys got the ball, though. How many times have you ever said, I'm going to watch, why are you going to watch? I want to see a defensive end.
Deion. I would tune in to watch Deion. I would tune in to watch Ray Lewis. I would tune in to I'm a former offensive lineman, so I enjoyed watching Reggie White and Bruce Smith and Warren Sapp and Mean Joe Green. But it's what Myles Garrett is doing is special, and it's one of the other reasons why he's not as appreciated as he should be is like we don't have a John Madden anymore. We don't. John Madden used to really focus in on line play and make it exciting. Now it's quarterbacks in the booth and everything's just quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. And so a guy goes 11 of 20 for 209 yards, really completes 3 big passes, and we spend all of our time talking about him rather than what actually won the game.
Jason, and again, more credit to Stefanski. I know people are gonna hate this, but the fact he only gave him 20 throwing attempts, he understood. Let's protect this guy as much as possible, develop it. We can grow the offense with them. And it is you made this point, it is such a big advantage to be ahead. It's really an incredible advantage to be ahead 2 touchdowns against the Raiders. That means at this point, you could literally just hand the ball off, play ball control, field position. Jason, it was actually interesting to see Shedeur playing right under center. I don't recall him ever doing that in Cleveland. At Colorado. Everything at Colorado was shotgun spread. I don't think he ever took a direct center snap right underneath old school style. So look, Stefanski understood what he could handle at this moment. But be honest, Jason, you're telling me as he lines up next Sunday, you will not be focused in on the Browns versus the Niners. You have your curiosity is over with this.
I'm going to watch. Myles Garrett, I'm going to watch for both of them.
Because of Myles Garrett.
No, I'm going to watch for both of them. But Myles Garrett is on an incredible run, Steve. He's going to destroy the sack record on a team that virtually never leads a football game. This is incredible. You remember Fernando Mania? Fernando Valenzuela?
1981. I remember
that was the one year I went to the Dodgers training camp, or what do they call?
Vero Beach.
I went to Vero Beach, Florida, the year after Fernando Mania. It was the year after Fernando Mania.
It was 82. Spring of 82.
Yeah, and so, I remember Fernando Valenzuela, and that's what Myles Garrett feels like. He's destination TV to see him destroy, not a sacred record because, Strahan kind of Brett Favre gifted it to
asterisk. Him. That's kind of an asterisk there. Let's be honest. That's still Gastineau's record. Let's be honest.
Myles Garrett is going to break that record in 14 games. You would think at this point. In the next 3 games, he should probably pick up 4 sacks, 4.5 sacks, whatever he needs, and he's going to break that record. This won't be, it took him 17 games and so-and-so only played 16. He's going to shatter this record. It's on a horrible football team to see this type of greatness in that situation is amazing and must-see TV for me. And yes, I will be interested in the Shedeur story. But again, the Myles Garrett deal is going to be settled this season. There's nothing Shedeur is going to do this week, next week, or the week after that's going to define whether or not he's a great quarterback. The prime sexuals, the Shedeur sexuals, they've got all the information they need. If Shedeur, after this week, if he's not putting a Hall of Fame jacket on 5 years from now, it's because of white racism. And Kevin Stefanski hated him. He got Jason, set up. It's no different than Colin Kaepernick. He got blackballed. Again, they'll have every excuse in the world. So it's kind of a pointless conversation because there's nothing Shedeur Sanders can do one way. He could hold hostages and kill a bunch of people, and they'd still, the white man made him do it. If Stefanski had just played him, he would have never shot those people.
Jason, I'll leave you with this. If he has a Geno Smith type career, that means he will have been in the league for over a decade.
Yes.
And he would have made lots of money and started some games. That's a pretty good career in that context. The issue is, though the people that worship Shedeur really think that he's modern-day Johnny Unitas, Roger Staubach, Dan Marino, Tom Brady. It's really about perspective. You tell most kids, hey, at age 15, hey, one day you're going to have a Geno Smith career. You're going to play over a decade in the league and sign a big contract. I think most kids would say, yeah, sign me up for that.
No question. But trust me, if he has a Geno Smith career, we're going to have to sit and listen to people say, well, if Kevin Stefanski weren't in the KKK, he would have had Joe Montana's career. That's my problem.
Here's
I'm
what I
gonna
want
go
to
to-
see next week. I want to
I'm a-
see the Niners get out to a 10-0 or 14-0 or 21-7 lead in halftime, where now it's like, okay, it's throw game. Now it is a throw game, and now we're going to see now that's going to be more of a litmus test. I know it's only game 2, but I don't want to see any other quarterback. I don't care about Deshaun Watson. I've seen what I want from Dylan Gable. I want to see Shedeur take every single snap this season on for the Cleveland Browns.
I want to thank. Well, this name doesn't show up very good. It's got a $20 super chat from.
Oh,
I can't see the name. I'm sorry, but thank you. He says that Steve Kim's his favorite guest, Carmen Evans. Carmen, thank you so much for the super chat.
Carmen, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Carmen.
you,
We appreciate all the super chats. I want to end this by saying, look, the reason we're able to do this, to come on a Sunday, do special shows. We were on yesterday talking about Stephen A. Smith. The thing you guys need to do to thank me is to thank the Blaze for making it possible for us to do shows like this that are this honest, that allow me to say whatever it is I think. If you guys should go to fearlessmission.com, fearlessmission.com, become a subscriber. You can save $20 with this promo code FEARLESS right now. I'm telling you, I know some of you are like, man, the Blaze is too political. The Blaze allows me to come on and put this show on and to be this honest about everything. I get to say whatever it is I want. You got to thank the people that make this possible. Go to fearlessmission.com. Join the Fearless Army in a real way. We appreciate you, Steve. Thanks for making some time for us today. We'll see you and everybody else tomorrow. Go enjoy Sunday Night Football.